Hello everyone, welcome to my 24-hour stream. Woohoo! I hope it will be at least half as good as I imagine. And I'm back. Whoops. I didn't actually plan you talking in because I didn't want to stress you out with that, but if you want to, you're welcome to give us some talks. Else I would just read the tales that you wrote down. Callahan, come here, we still have some break time. No? No cuddle? Okay. You've been playing recently again? Okay. You've played before in like 2014. Yeah, I think I'm not too far from there either. So do you want, Jager, do you want to talk military stories or not? You're welcome to. Actually, I wanted to be in Discord while I stream and I completely forgot about that. I'm going to be in Discord. Streaming, everyone can join. So you're welcome to hop in there if you want to. Even if you don't have anything to tell, like a big story. If you just want to sit in there, it's also welcome. No worries. Nothing needed. Yay! Ragnarok sound! Oh yeah, you would be welcome to join. And yeah, I'm sure his stories will be hilarious from what I've already heard. Yay! Oh, cat treats. Cat treats. One moment. You can do that anytime you want. You can do that right now, or we play Chased by Darkness first. I mean, I need to find people to play Chased by Darkness with. Else I'll play it alone, which I have no problem with. Oh, hi!
Man, I'm hearing like 6 of you at once. Hold on. Okay. It's like I have like a good 45-second delay
between stream and Discord?
Yes.
That's normal.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was trying to get I have to close down Twitch. I was trying to make sure that I could actually be heard.
I mean,
and my mic quality was.
You can mute the tab, but yeah.
Well, no, I was trying to make sure my my mic was loud enough.
So you want to talk right now?
That depends. I can read Tales from the Front.
You can do that if you want to.
People, or I can talk out military stories if you want.
I mean, the tales I can read as well, but I can't tell your military stories. But it's up for you.
It's your stream. It's actually not up to me.
First, I have to get the kitty treats.
Oh, does someone claim the 900 thing treats? It's fucking cold in my barracks. Holy shit.
There, kitties are eating the treats.
Actually, give me like 10 minutes, or 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. Give me like 4 minutes. Let me jump off my computer and then get on my phone, because it'll be easier to talk.
Okay. In the meanwhile, I will already start Chased by Darkness, because that can run while you're talking too. If that's okay.
Alright, I shall return.
So, let's start Chased by Darkness. Let me actually disable my map blocker. There we go. Hi, Naughty Ferret! How you doing? So, changing to Chased by Darkness, let me just update the category. I wonder how this game will be. Sadly, the person that got me to download the game can't play today. which is totally fine. I will miss them, but it's fine. We just have to make do on our own, and I have no idea. So, until the pattern is barely visible. What the? Thank you! Wait, what's going on?
3, 2, 1, go!
What's going on? Okay, I did not expect something to happen. I have no idea what's going on, and it's awesome. Thank you. So, parent tutorial. Oh, kids under my chair. Let me see if I can. Oh. Okay. That is interesting. Yeah, I guess you have to stay. No, let's go with full screen. No. Yes. Let's go with 30. It's not a shooter. What?
Alrighty then. Hear me?
I can hear you, but you're breaking up a little bit. And you missed something very funny. Apparently a sticker party happened or something like that. It's awesome.
Oh, the one time I'm not there. Well, consider the fact that you have over 20 something viewers now.
That is really awesome, because I don't think I've had that many without... well, I did get rated by Batman with 44 people. That was pretty amazing. And cheers! Oh man, Naughty Ferret, thank you very much. I'm really getting spoiled right now.
My connection a little better. Am I still like breaking up super bad, or am I still tolerable?
Well, you can be heard, so...
Okay. Alright, let's see. Well, as I said, it's up to you because it's your stream. Do you want me to read Tales from the Front, or do you want me to do military stories?
Do military stories. I can read Tales from the Front when you're not there. I would rather hear your military stories.
Alright, let's see. How far back do I want to go? I got plenty. I guess let's start from the beginning. So, for those of you who are watching, hearing me for the first time, stuff like that, I am Jager Crimzn, also known as Commissar Jager, on Foxhole. And for those of you who actually know what a commissar is, yes, I do. So, little background. I've been in the military for about seven-ish years. Almost 8, going on next year. Some of the best experiences I've had have been during my basic combat training and my AIT training. Oh, and for those of you who are in weird time zones, I'm in the American military. To clarify, I'm not part of any other armed forces. I get asked that a lot. So, starting from the beginning, when I went to basic combat training, I was actually still in high school. For those of you who are not in the U.S., it's probably about that's so I was in junior high school. I was part of a program called Split Ops, which means during the year, I would go to school, and then on weekends, I would go and do military training. Most of the military training I did when I was in high school was more of to prepare myself to be in the military, working out, making sure I was physically fit, mentally prepared. God, your keyboard is loud.
Sorry.
Super clicks.
Super clicks. I'm just giving people the name of the server and password for my Chase by Darkness game.
I still don't know what game it is, but I'll continue. So when I went to basic combat training, I was probably one of the youngest people there. I had just turned. I was about to turn 18 in the middle of it, and everybody has the big, at least in America, the big birthdays that everybody has to celebrate is when you turn 13, when you turn 16, when you turn 18, and when you turn 21, because those are the quote unquote milestones. I haven't celebrated my birthday properly in about 9 years. Like, I always have to celebrate my birthday a month or so early, and sometimes it drives my family crazy. But I turned 18 in basic, and when you have a birthday in basic and people know about it, we have things called sock parties. A sock party is where you take your boot socks, which are these really long, like 4-foot-long socks. You ball up your other sock, put it in there, and you swing it over your head to get it as far down in the foot as possible. And then you find the birthday person, and you whack the crap out of them with the sock.
That's not the kind of soccer party I expected.
Yes, that's a sock party. You do that, and you hit them for however old they are, and each person does it. So that means if you're in a barracks with 40 people, and you turn 18, 40 people are smacking you 18 times. So yeah, when they found out that I was turning 18
Good one, Benno.
during basic.
Benno is asking if that is what you Americans call soccer.
No, it's called a sock party. Sock party. SOCKPARTY party. There's another type of party that I'll get into later. But the sock party, it's fun. It's a semi-rite of passage. It's meant to alleviate, like, doing a sock party or something like that, finding out somebody's birthday and messing with them, especially in basic, is a really good way to keep people's spirits up. For those of you who aren't in the military or have not been part of certain military trainings, the process of basic combat training is to break you down physically and mentally and build you back up to be a soldier, to be capable of reacting to certain events. Not everybody makes through it. This goes into my second story from basic combat training. There was this guy, I say guy, because he was a little bit older than me. I cannot remember his name to save my life. I can describe him to you to a T. He looked like, has anybody ever seen the movie? If you've ever seen the movie called Master of Disguise, he looked like the Turtle Man. And if you haven't seen it, look it up. Look up Turtle Man, Master of Disguise. He looked like that. Big, like, bottle Coke glasses and stuff like that. Like, kind of looked like he got hit in the head with a frying pan and doesn't really know what he's doing. Yeah, he's a great. He was an okay dude for, like, the first, like, 2 weeks of basic training. In basic combat training, we have things called phases. There's red phase, white phase, and blue phase. Red phase is no matter what you do, you're doing it wrong. You're gonna get PT'd every day for doing simple things wrong. You can get PT'd for breathing improperly.
Oh wait, there's currently a cutscene in game. Is it okay?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
I'll be quiet.
Barkannon is a bestial spirit who created a connection with Charlie Richards, a serial killer.
Didn't expect a cutscene to happen. Sorry for that.
Just tell me when it's over.
After Charlie was arrested, Barkannon started to act. Barkannon influenced a mass suicide attempt in the penitentiary. After the prison was evacuated, you were called in to deal with the situation.
Okay, cutscene is over.
Hooray! Okay, where was I? Phases. In basic, you have 3 different phases: red phase, white phase, and blue phase. Red phase is the most physically and mentally demanding phase in basic. It could last 2 weeks. It could last the entire time you're in basic, depending on how your drill sergeants decide to treat you. Red phase, you're treated like an idiot. You're not allowed. You don't know how to breathe properly. You don't know how to bathe properly. You don't know how to, stare at a wall properly. Everything you do is wrong. And since you do something wrong, you need to be punished for it. So they make you do PT, some other kind of crazy physical activity. There was this guy who he had a breakdown. He had a mental breakdown. And it wasn't one of those mental breakdowns where, he starts screaming, hollering, taking off his clothes and running around naked or anything like that. Well, actually, he did do that, but I'll get to that. When we first noticed that he had his breakdown, we were taking a platoon photo. Everybody in our platoon got together. We had to come up with a little fancy motto, and we took a picture. We tried to look all happy, even though nobody was happy, and we all hated the place. So we were going to take a photo, and he said that I can't take a photo because he was quote unquote having a panic attack. How truthful that is, I can't say. I wasn't as well versed in mental disorders and disabilities like that as I am now. But now I can say that he was faking it. He wasn't having a panic attack. He was faking it. So he told the drill sergeants he was having a panic attack. Like he was feeling like he said throw up. He was starting to pretend to hyperventilate, all kinds of stuff to get out of a simple picture. So they didn't let him take the picture. They let him do what he wants. So he kind of sat off in the corner and didn't do anything. That night, while we were supposed to, we have something called fire guard. During fire guard, you have 2 people up every hour of the night throughout the night. And what you're supposed to do is you have one person watching the front door, where if somebody tries to come in at night, you stop them and you say, "Hey, who are you?" And while the other person cleans, sweeping the floor, mopping the floor, wiping down mirrors, licking doorknobs, something. So during the night when he was on fire guard, he decided to strip himself of all of his clothes. Just randomly. And when he did that, a female drill sergeant just happened to come onto the floor.
Oh my, oh my.
So, needless to say, at 2 o'clock in the morning, this female drill sergeant comes in and he's like, a 20-year-old guy in the nude, mopping the floor at 2 o'clock in the morning. She was not happy. She was pissed. She flipped on the lights. She screamed. She yelled. There was this metal trash can we had in the corner of the bay to throw away trash. She picked that thing up, threw it across the room and stuff like that. Super pissed as shit. And he's just sitting there with a wide-ass grin on his face with the mop over his shoulder like he was holding a rifle. Like, completely unfazed.
The hydraulic system has been damaged.
And she's sitting there, she's yelling, she's screaming at him. He's just sitting there with a smile on his face. The rest of us are in the front leaning rest doing push-ups on the ground. And then another drill sergeant comes in, and another. Now we got 6 drill sergeants. Everybody's doing all these different types of physical activities, and he's just standing in the middle of the bay with a smile on his face. Completely unfazed by everything. Yeah. The following morning, after the drill sergeants, forced him to finally put on clothes, they put him on something called suicide watch.
Oh.
Now,
So they decided it was a serious thing.
Well, yes, because they have to treat it as it's serious. He was sitting there mopping the bay at 2 in the morning, butt-ass naked, and People are yelling and screaming at him to, hey, put your clothes on. He's just staring there and completely unfazed by everything. So they were going to send him go get checked out. So they put him on something called suicide watch. When people are on suicide watch, they are basically, they have everything taken away from them. They're not allowed to have shoelaces. They're not allowed to have their belts for their pants. They can't have anything, and they have to be watched by at least 2 people. So I was one of the unfortunate people that had to watch him. So the following morning, when everybody got up, my drill sergeant came up to me, and she said, "Hey, you and your battle buddy are going to go with him to sick call to get him so he can get checked out by the doctors." So, needless to say, it was a good thing, it was a bad thing. It was a good thing because we didn't have to go to training that day. It was a bad thing because now we had to pretty much walk around with a leash with a crazy person. And we didn't know what he was going to do. So, we get to the hospital. It's like 4:30 in the morning. We get to the hospital. We go, we get him checked in. There's me, my battle buddy, there's a drill sergeant. We're checking him in, and they're like, "Okay, cool, what's wrong with him?" Well, he has a mental breakdown. Well, what do you mean he had a mental breakdown? He was mopping the bay at 2:30 in the morning, butt-ass naked, and was completely unfazed by people yelling at him. So the doctors are like, "Okay, cool," writing stuff down here and there. They take him they take him to the little fancy room and stuff like that with the big chair, to go see the shrink. And me and my battle buddy were like, "Okay, cool. What do we do?" And the drill sergeant's like, "Go over there, take a nap or something." We're like, "Okay, yay! We get to sleep properly." Because if there's one thing you really like to do in basics, you really like to sleep because you don't really get a lot of it.
I can
And
imagine.
if you do get a lot, oh, it sucks. If you get more than 4 consistent hours of sleep, you'll just automatically wake up and you'll think something is wrong. You'll be freaking out, going, "Oh my god, I've had more than 4 hours of sleep. Am I about to die?" So a couple hours go by. He comes back out. It's lunchtime, and so we can't eat at the hospital where we go, where the basic people go to get checked out. We're not allowed to eat good hospital food. We have to eat MREs. So me, my battle buddy, are eating MREs and stuff like that, and we're watching this guy, and he's just being super weird. He's walking around and he's talking to people, and it looked like he was asking for stuff. So me and my battle buddy, we go up and say, "Hey, what are you doing? You have an MRE. What are you asking for?" He's like, "Oh, I'm asking for matches." "Excuse me, you're asking for what?" It's like, "I'm asking for matches."
Okay.
Why are you asking for matches? Why are you asking for matches? You're on suicide watch. He's like, "Yeah, I know. I just want to have some matches because I like the feel of them in my hand." And immediately my head's going, "Oh yeah, I sure as shit ain't giving him no matches. He gonna burn something down." So as he's going around, he's talking to people, he's asking people, "Hey, can I get the matches, do the MREs and stuff like that?" And me and my battle buddy Cooper, waving our hands, shaking no, physically dragging him away from people. And our drill sergeant was nowhere to be found because he, being a drill sergeant, can basically go wherever he wants. So he went to the McDonald's. He left us behind and went to McDonald's. That was on base.
Spend.
Oh yeah, asshole. But drill sergeant wasn't there. Me and my battle buddy are basically trying to corral him and stuff like that. And we make him sit down. We make him sit away from everybody. Make him go sit down. And then my battle buddy Cooper went, "Hey, I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be back in 5 minutes." I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll watch him." The moment I looked to Cooper in order to speak to him about going to the bathroom, the moment I looked back, that guy had gotten up, jumped over the wall that was right behind the bench that he was on, and was able to get some matches from a guy that was down there, and had lit an actual trash can on fire.
What the hell?
Not Not like a little one. Not like a little one you find at a bus stop. No, like a big giant one that the dump trucks pick up. Yeah, he in the span of like 30 seconds, he had grabbed matches, lit them all, threw them in a garbage can, and then lit the whole thing on fire. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I am freaking the fuck out because now there are MPs just rolling up out of nowhere. They're just military police officers are just appearing out of fucking nowhere. Like they're coming out of the trees, they're slithering out of the sewers and stuff like that. They're morphing out of people. They're everywhere. It's like, where were all these people like 10 minutes ago? And so they're coming in. They're dragging people away and stuff like that. They're questioning people. And fire department comes and shows up to put out the fire and stuff like that. And MPs are like, who did this? Who's involved with this? And everybody looked at me. Because they knew I was the guy that was going around saying, hey, don't give this guy matches. He's on suicide watch. Everybody was looking at me. And I'm sitting there going, oh, shit.
Oh,
I'm screwed. Oh, no. And so the MPs come up to me, and they're talking to me and stuff like that. They're like, do you know what happened? I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what happened. He's like, well, what happened? Told him the whole story about the guy, everything that happened up to that point. And he's like, where's your drill sergeant? I'm like, my drill sergeant went somewhere else. I don't know. I'm in basic. I'm not allowed to have a phone. I can't even send up smoke signals without permission.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I'm talking to this MP and stuff like that. I'm getting my ass chewed the fuck out. Like, I am getting yelled at, screamed at by drill sergeants that are appearing out of the woodwork and stuff like that. I'm getting yelled at by the MPs. And they had taken the guy that was on suicide watch, they took him and arrested him. Because it's like a combination of like, damage of property and like malicious intent and all kinds of really crazy stuff that made up. And the whole time I'm freaking out, like I'm on the verge of crying. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I was just told to watch him. I looked away like for a minute to go tell my buddy, hey, go pee. And then he lit something on fire. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, needless to say, I didn't go back to basic for like a couple of days because they had me at the MP station. Not necessarily interrogating me, but they were making me write down like 6 or 7 reports of what happened, why I was there, who I was supposed to be with, blah, blah, blah. It was a whole ordeal that lasted for like 3 days. And I didn't get to sleep. I barely ate. When I came back, like, I looked like a zombie. And then they said, oh, yeah, hey, we're going to do on a 12-mile run tomorrow. Oh, goody.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sleep-deprived Jager gets to go on a 12-mile run. And I passed out like halfway through. I got like 7 miles in, and I found a little nice patch of ground. And I passed the fuck out. I passed out. Like fucking some medics and stuff like that found me. They're like, "Hey, are you okay? You're having a heat stroke?" I'm like, "No, I'm just tired. I haven't slept. I'm dead. I'm dying. Take me home.
Take me home.
I don't want to. Don't take me home. I don't want to be here." But yeah, that was the first major incident. I had like 2 more afterwards, and they got worse and worse. The next incident that happened. Yeah, the next incident happened. I almost like legitimately got arrested. So, yeah. So in basic training, there are certain things that will get you kicked out. There are certain things that will immediately get you arrested and thrown in jail. Like, with you get no trial, you get nothing. You're just like, hey, look, you're guilty. Straight to jail. The biggest thing that the military the biggest thing that you get in trouble with the military, other than like fraternization, is breaking and losing equipment. So when breaking and losing equipment, that's like the next biggest thing that can happen to you, other than fraternization and sharp. We're about like 6 weeks into my basic training. I have about 3 weeks left before I've graduated and I can go home. During this, we were in something called white phase. White phase is where the drill sergeants are a little more lax on us. They don't treat us like complete idiots, and they don't PT the ever-loving crap out of us because we're not babies anymore. We're not stupid. I think it was a Sunday, I want to say, because Sundays are our semi-rest days where we don't really do anything. We get to like go to church, get to wash our clothes, make up our beds, get our uniforms and stuff ready for the next week. And this Sunday they said, "Hey, we need some people to clean weapons. The big weapons we just used, like 249, 24 Bravos, the machine guns. We needed somebody to clean them." Well, beforehand, I somehow got miraculously put in the position of, "Hey, you're in charge of making sure everybody has all these fancy weapons." The only reason why I was put in this position is because I had the smarts to write down the serial numbers. Because the drill sergeants were very critical of, "Hey, this weapon is assigned to this person. If anybody else has this weapon, that person and the person it's supposed to belong to are going to have the crap PT'd out of them." So I made sure that everybody in my platoon always had their weapons because I wrote down everybody's serial numbers. So my drill sergeants found out about this, and they said, "Hey, if you're doing it for your platoon, why don't you do it for everybody else?"
Oh no.
Yeah, that was more sleepless nights that Jaeger didn't get. Because I was up until like 2 a.m. checking serial numbers to make sure people had the right weapons. All because I didn't like to run or do PT, and I didn't want anybody else to make me do it.
Yeah, care for one person, suddenly you have to care for everyone.
Oh no, it's like the Musketeers. It's one for all and all for one. If one person screws up, everybody screws up. If everybody screws up, everybody screws up.
Yeah, then if one person takes over the care, it helps, but...
Yeah, there's no such thing as... The military says that we're one team, one fight, but there's a lot of individuals. So what happened is that I was cleaning weapons. I was getting together like a roster of, "Hey, at noon, you're going to clean weapons. Hey, at 2 o'clock, you're going to clean weapons." Something to where there's going to be somebody making sure there's somebody working on the weapons to get cleaned. And that if the drill sergeants were coming around checking in on us, we looked like we were busy. Because if we are not busy, the drill sergeants are going to make you busy. Even if it's like, "Hey, you got a spare toothbrush, right? All right, cool. Go grab that spare toothbrush, and you're gonna scrub these tiles one by one until you can eat off of them with your toothbrush."
Oh man.
Yeah, like if you guys have seen Forrest Gump or Full Metal Jacket, yeah, the little thing where they're like where they're scrubbing the ground with toothbrushes. Yeah, they still do stuff like that. It's an alternate form of punishment that wastes your time.
Dearly.
Yes. So we're cleaning weapons, and it goes through the day. It's into the night. Around 2, I put myself on the graveyard shift, which is like 1 to 2 in the morning. Nobody likes that shift. It's in the dead of night. Nobody wants to get 3 hours of sleep, have to get up for an hour, and they get 3 more hours of sleep. So I put myself in that position to where I could get up, check the weapons, see which ones were done, see which ones needed to be worked on, and then pass it along to the rest of the crews. So I get up, everything's fine. Like a good 90% of the weapons were finished, and we had like 2 things left to do. So I said, "All right, cool, we're going to be done by the time the morning rolls around." And I actually was very, proud. I was actually very happy because I'm like, look, these weapons are pretty much fucking spotless. Like, the drill sergeants have to accept them. They are spotless. They were. We had many drill sergeants comment saying these are, really fucking clean. Like, why are these weapons so clean? What'd you do to them? Just whenever you do something perfect and they can't find anything wrong, they think you cheat. Oh man. So weapons are almost done. I go back upstairs. I go back to sleep, and it's 4 a.m. About 2 hours before we're supposed to wake up. I am violently shook out of my bed. Like, I have somebody put both their hands on my chest and violently shake me awake. And all I hear is, hey, you need to get up. I'm like, what? They're like, we fucked up. Hold on, start from the beginning. What do you mean? He's like, we lost the spring. I'm like, what do you mean? There's like 12 springs. You got to be a little more specific. He's like, we lost the spring that goes over the firing pin. I'm
no.
Oh, goody. Because, unfortunately, that is one of the ever so specific items to where if we lose it, somebody's going to jail. That is one of the very few items that when we were given a brief about the weapon, it's like, hey, look, if you lose this, or this, you will go to jail.
Sammy,
and I went.
I right now.
So I'm being violently shook awake at 4 a.m. I am like half asleep, and as soon as they tell me that, I'm like, what? You did what? When? And so I didn't change. Because when you go up and go downstairs, you're supposed to go down in your uniform. And I didn't. I just threw on my tennis shoes. I had my PT uniform on. I just changed and I ran downstairs as quickly as I could. And down there's like 6 people. The 6 people that were supposed to be cleaning weapons, they are scattered all over our formation area, like crawling on the ground little by little and stuff like that, looking for this tiny spring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god. And our drill sergeant didn't even know we lost it until I came downstairs. Like, and it was literally the last weapon we had to clean. It was the last thing we had to do.
Oh no.
And it was the very last thing. Like, literally, as soon as we turned that weapon in, we didn't have anything else to do. Somebody lost the spring on it. And we're like, so I told everybody, I'm like, okay, look, we have an hour before wake up. Go tell the next crew they don't have to come downstairs. I'm going to search for this. I'm going to search for this myself. I'm just taking the blame.
You're breaking up.
Oh. Is this better? Hello?
It seems better now, yeah.
So I'm like, look, if anybody's going to get the blame, it's going to be me, because it was my responsibility to come up with the weapons list, the roster for everything to do, and it was my responsibility to keep all the weapons in check. So I said, you know what? I'm going to finish it. I'm going to take the blame for it if we can't find this spring. 6 a.m. rolls around. Everybody's waking up. People are coming downstairs. First formation's happening. Me and my battle buddy, who slept on the bunk above me, we're still in PTs, and everybody else is in uniform. Everybody else goes to breakfast. Me and my battle buddy are, like, this time we had moved from the formation area over to, like, this big giant gravel pit that was next to our formation area, and we were searching around in that. Because it's a little spring. It's about the size of my thumb. It's like 2 inches long, and it's a super critical part of the weapon. I did find out later that I actually wasn't going to go to jail. That, like, a little piece like that is easily replaceable. But the way they talked about it in BASIC, like, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't just that. Back then, there was actually issues on the post of people taking apart the weapons and nailing pieces home. So if a piece goes missing on a weapon, they have to shut down the base and do like a 24-hour inspection of the entire area to make sure that nobody's trying to mail it home. So there was some consequences of losing it, but not as bad as they were telling us. So I'm searching for it. My battle buddy's searching for it. It's like 7 a.m. at this point. Everybody's gone to breakfast. and the first sergeant for my training company sneaks up behind me, and he stands behind me, and he speaks up. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I get up, I go to parade rest and stuff like that. I tell him what was going on, and I personally thought he was going to be mad. Like, I thought, and he didn't, but he wasn't. He actually stopped. He looked at me. He looked at my battle buddy who was like still digging around in the gravel and stuff like that. He's like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "Honestly, right now, I don't need it. I just need time to look for this." He's like, "Okay, you have your time. Go look for it." So I go back. We're searching. We keep searching. About another hour and a half goes by. The captain shows up. Captain shows up, walks up behind me, says, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" I get up, look at him, salute him, go to attention, and before I could tell him what was going on, the first sergeant popped out of his office. Said, "Hey, sir, come over here. I'll tell you what's going on. We'll deal with this later." So I immediately looked at first sergeant, looked at the commander, and went right back to work. 2 hours passed. It's lunchtime. We are almost done with this giant gravel pit that's right next to me. And I never heard this man. There's one person that outranks both my commander and my sergeant major, and that is the command sergeant major. And the command sergeant major, basically, like, he didn't have a presence. Like, he was a fucking ninja. This man was really tiny. I really thought that he would just climb through the vents inside the building because he would just appear out of nowhere.
Okay.
Like, literally, you could watch him walk through a building that only had one entrance, and somehow he'll be behind you, and you'll never see him. He just, like, comes out of the ground. He's like a little fucking gnome. So I'm digging, I'm searching, and, like, I feel a tap on my shoulder. At first, I looked up, and I thought it was my friend Cooper. I thought maybe he had found it, and I got excited. I looked up real quickly, and I saw him, and I looked down at his chest, and then I saw, like, all the rank he had, and I went, "Oh, no, that's a really important person. Oh, no." So, yeah, immediately, my mouth went dry. I started freaking out. I started having, like, a mild panic attack, because it's like, what do I do? What do I say? What do I do? And he's sitting there with a big grin on his face, and he's like, "What you doing there, Private?" I'm like, I am searching for a very important item." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, and so I go into the whole spiel about how someone lost the spring, how me and my battle buddy were searching for it because it's something, it has to be turned in because we know the consequences if it's not. He doesn't say anything at first. He just looks at me, looks me up and down, puts his hand on his chin, and he's like, "I got something just for you," and walks away. He just disappears. I didn't know what he was talking about. I kind of thought, like, he just appeared out of nowhere and then left when he wanted to, and I'm like, "Okay, bye. I'm gonna go back to work now." So I go back to digging in the gravel, and then I hear him clear his throat, like he just appeared back out of nowhere. I look up. Standing behind him is 6 military police officers.
Oh dear.
Yes, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, this bastard just ratted me out. He didn't even give me time. He just went straight to the MPs, and I'm getting arrested. Great." And he just looked at me. He was reading my mind. I have to say he was reading my mind because he smiled. He got a big smile on his face, and he's like, "I know what you're thinking, but you're not in trouble. Where have you searched, and where have you not searched yet?" I'm like, "We've searched this area. We've searched this area. We have not searched this area yet." He's like, "All right, cool." He turned to the MPs. He pointed at like 4 different locations. He's like, "Y'all go set up a perimeter out there. Don't let anybody in. If somebody comes in, arrest them." Like, oh shit. Okay. This just got real fast. So, what I found out is what he did is that, you could just tell me to pause.
I tried to be nice and do it over a private chat, but yeah, I think it's time that we wrap up the story and
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm almost done with
communicate.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. So to make a long story short, he brought up NPs to help us find this area. It took us about another hour to find it because it fell down a drain. And when I found it, I jumped up, screamed, "Hey, I found the fucking spring!" and turned it in. And after I got done turning it in, the command sergeant major took me and my battle buddy Cooper out to go get McDonald's and ice cream. There's a lot more funny details to the story, but since you're probably jumping in the game now, I'll pause and I'll mute myself. So I guess whenever
If you want to, you can jump into Chased by Darkness with us if you have the game.
I do not have the game.
Yeah,
You asked me about it before. I don't know what the game is.
But thank you very much for telling the stories. There were a bunch of fun stories, but I think we need to keep the stories short relative to also have some gaming. But thank you very much. I mean, especially the first one was crazy.
Oh. Yeah, I have plenty more. So just tell me when you need me to fill in the gaps.
Every once in a while, a little story of a few minutes would be really cool. You have so many. Thank you.
I do.
And thanks also for my viewers. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Thank you very much for being here with me today. I really enjoyed it. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate you being there. We are definitely going to have more special streams as we reach more milestones. And thank you for making me this happy and making all of this so worth it. Well, I'm going to have a really good sleep. I hope you enjoyed all of the time we spent with me today and yesterday. And yeah, you are going to enjoy the rest of your time today. And I hope that I will see you either for the Discord dinner or tomorrow for Bioshock. Even if you don't show up or show up regularly, I still appreciate that you're here. It is always a lot of fun to have people there, especially if they are active in some way. So thank you. Thank you, you're much appreciated. Treat yourself kindly as you would others because you deserve love and respect yourself. You're awesome, each and every one of you. And I really appreciate you. See you, well, later, guys. Good night. Failure out. Night.